And good morning to you, people who didn't hear the first half of my introduction because I didn't press record yet. That's right. That's right. If I keep saying another unusual intro, then it will become a standard intro, and thus defeating the purpose of this experiment. Speaking of experiments, we're currently level 10 with Stetmann on his first very boring prestige, which is very strong, but again, very boring. Now, we've unlocked the infestor upgrade cache, so we can spam infestors and whatnot, and I'm going to do that because I love spamming infestors. For anybody who's like, Nate, I don't understand what's going on. I've literally only decided to tune into episode 8 because I'm an idiot. Well, go watch the earlier episodes. I'm not explaining it again. We're deep into this series, all right? This is like asking for a recap halfway through an anime season. Okay, what do you think this is? My Hero Academia, where we have 7 flashbacks per episode? No! This is JoJo's, where we don't even follow the rules we set 1 episode ago. Yada yada daze. Anyway, Nate, stop staring into our souls, please. Well, I've already taken your soul now, so it's good. We're pretty much there. It's the part where I shout gold experience. Requiem. Oh, we got this map. I got a good amount of optimization and memeing done on my setup last night. So the 3090s, people have been freaking out. Everyone's been like, Nathan, does your 3090 have 6 pause caps or 6 MLSCCs? And I'm like, people have been freaking out, man. They're like, it turns out people were like talking about how all these things, people were talking about all these weird things. Nate, I checked the TL blog section and I saw this today. I thought you should know. Nathanias dog missing in photo. What? It would appear that this photo from the Associated Press found Nathanias braving his way through the disaster. Where is his beloved dog? WTF LMAO. That's my reply. That's my official reply. Congratulations, Sphere Dragon. You found a way to make me go back on Team Liquid after I quit all StarCraft community areas. You managed to do it. You managed to get me back in for half a second to type that reply. But everybody's been freaking out about the capacitor types on the 3080s and 3090s because people's GPUs were crashing to desktop and all sorts of stuff. I just thought it was funny. Oh no, it's hilarious. It is. I did reply to it. That was my way of showing you that I enjoyed it. I would not have replied had I disliked it. I promise. But yeah. So I was they dropped the first new driver update yesterday for the 3090s and the 3080s, and that completely fixed like 99% of the crashing issues. Basically nothing in DirectX was running when your graphics card would hit over 2 gigahertz. Basically, I could get my GPU to not crash at all if I got it all the way up to 1999, but as soon as I did anything that would make the clock speed hit 2 gigahertz, it would just crash. And the EVGA 3090s do not have the bad POS cap, whatever layout setup things that everyone's complaining about. So I knew that it wasn't my graphics card because it was one of the good ones, but I also knew that it was also like every single time when new GPUs come out, everybody freaks out and they're like, oh my god, crashes, lol, glad I'm not a beta tester. And I'm like, well, I mean, obviously, as we all know, if you've actually been a part of a new graphics card cycle, you know they're always buggy at the start before new drivers come out. You know, I actually have the EVGA 2080 Ti Ultra XC, which was infamous for having some other board issues as well. That 2080 Ti had issues, but I just never had those problems. I never actually had any issues with it at all. So I'm just like, you know, sometimes people really try to jump the gun on this stuff. But happy to report that the 3090 is working beautifully. The 3090 has been freaking awesome. And after the patch dropped, I was able to get it to clock up to 2040 megahertz. Peak temperature was 71 degrees Celsius. Yeah, it was pretty freaking sweet, huh? And beyond that, yeah, I didn't really need much else than that, you know? Like, obviously, that's basically peak right there. But, yeah, yeah, beyond that, I was pretty happy. I was able to play Warzone for a few hours last night. I was playing some Resident Evil Resistance, another great, terrible game that I love to play. And I had absolutely no issues with it at all. Had absolutely no issues with it at all. So I was glad that I could get it functioning properly up to the standard that I want. That made me a happy boy. Made me a happy boy. My FPS is always low when I play StarCraft, though, because that's just how this game's designed. Somebody stole my Cadillac. Sometimes it be like that. Your allies are in battle. Sorry, poorly singing popular songs is one of my many talents, or perhaps lack thereof. Did you win your fantasy matchup? Yes, thankfully I was carried by Tyreek Hill, Russell Wilson, and the best part about last night was that without Clyde Edwards-Helaire popping off, the Ravens also returned a kickoff for a touchdown, which, when you pick a defense in fantasy football, you increase resolution or FPS. Well, I play at 4K, 120 hertz. It doesn't work in co-op, obviously. I'll be fair with you, though. StarCraft isn't running in full screen mode like I usually have it run, so. Should we see if it just blows up right now? Oh, wait. Wrong button, wrong button. Hang on. Let's just see if it explodes. Let's go. Let's see.
Okay, Commander.
All right, there you go.
Enough structures today to
Did we get any FPS back by switching to full screen? Actually, we got about 15 FPS back, which is a lot when you're playing with Stetmann in co-op. Is that sad? Is that the kind of thing? Nate, should we cut that? Somebody from Blizzard's like, there you go. Playing StarCraft in full screen, exclusive full screen mode is actually something that helps. Yeah. This guy's already got Guardians.
You need more of it.
Listening.
If I want to use roaches away, then I do want to actually have the what's it called? The frickin' thingy. Yeah, I won my fantasy matchup because I had Ravens defense / special teams. In fantasy football, when you pick a defense, you also get their special teams. So because the Ravens ended up kick returning for a touchdown, their defense just had a crazy amount of points without Kansas City needing to do well. Which, I mean, obviously I wasn't opposed to Kansas City doing well because, as I said before, I had Tyreek Hill on my fantasy team and he ended up having a nice night. But, I mean, I think you guys know what I mean when I say that. Obviously, I just wanted to make sure that I could have the best possible outcome without it negatively affecting me, right? As happy as I was that Tyreek Hill did well, and while I probably would have won even if he had scored 5 touchdowns, if he had scored 5 touchdowns, I would have lost most of the points that I would have gotten otherwise out of the Ravens defense, I guess. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Is this too sports talky for y'all? I hope that makes sense. Basically, I had 2 bets that were going against each other, and it didn't end up being bad for me. That's all I have to say. So I had 2 bets going. One didn't have to get too much worse. So that was my day.
Your allies are in battle.
Nathan, why did you get a 3090 and not a 3080?
Don't get too bold out there.
I don't know, because I wanted it.
This planet will be lost.
I don't know. Why aren't you subscribed to my Twitch channel, giving me money so I can pay my bills and buy 3090s? Well, you see, Nathan, my personal life is something that I don't need to go into every detail to describe to you when you have a question. Exactly. Glad that we could all come to that conclusion together. Now more roaches. Vomit the roaches out. Vomit the roaches out.
You sure you want to do that at night, Commanders? The infested will be here any minute.
These satellites are not giving me what I want at the speed at which I want it. Yes, it's true. It just so happens that somebody who not only uses expensive computer hardware for work, but is also a hardware enthusiast, does in fact sometimes not go for the most cost-effective option because he also actually likes this stuff and wants to have a fucking dope computer for his Twitch broadcast that he runs.
It'll be easier to take out the structures in the
Look at these guys tentacling each other. It's disgusting.
Energy's too low to do that. This costs gas, and you need more of it. Your forces are under attack.
I guess the Ravagers can do their thing. I'm kind of realizing right now that obviously my infestors are all dead now because I played that. You know what? Give Dahaka the tentacle. Give him that. Give him the D. Give Dahaka the D.
Fix that. Your allies' base is under attack. Your allies being attacked. Bad guys closing in on your army.
Are you kidding me? Amon wants to attack us now too? Perfect.
Your allies' base is under siege. Your allies are in battle.
This may look bad, but it won't last.
This may
much
look
longer.
bad, but it's actually worse than it seems. Is that what you're about to say? Because that's how I was interpreting it.
To get blown up, did you?
Look at me spreading my 5G.
Systems online.
Nathan's right. We should help him pay off that card. Gap him. If it makes you feel better, me taking all the extra days of casting at DreamHack is how I justified paying for that
We
card.
have to burn enough of the infestation
Obviously, I
today
don't
so
expect
that
you
we don't
guys to
fall
know every
behind.
intricate detail of my life, but for the person who feels that Nathanias has been very fiscally irresponsible, I literally said yes to a day of casting I did not want to do because I wanted to spend that extra money specifically on getting the 3090 instead of the 3080. Does that make sense? I want you to imagine that your boss is like, hey, do you want to do an extra day of work so people can tell you you're an awful human being for another week? It'll help you get a better graphics card. And I said yes. So there is your official answer. If you are so emotionally invested in my personal decisions or business decisions, I guess.
Your friends are in a
No. Live.
Your forces are under
Oh, yeah. Look at him go. Look at me now. Look at me now. No, it died. It died anyway. But I tried so hard and got so far. In the end, it didn't even matter. Man, now I'm going to have to fall to lose it all. I actually tuned out of one of the DreamHack broadcasts because you weren't casting. That's some wholesome. Wait, these guys do 500 damage. This would just straight up kill all. Doesn't the D ability here just instantly kill these over the time? Yeah. Oh my god.
Half of the infestation
Oh
is
my
gone.
god. I could have just had my infestors giving him the D the whole time. Good god, man. I did not realize that. This mission is cracked with
Sending the
Stetmann.
coordinates for more
You just
structures.
gotta have your infestors impregnate each one of these things, and then eventually they blow up. Just like in real life. Ree, don't kill my infestor, no!
Time is running out. Don't forget that our base will need to be defended at night.
allies are in battle. Bad guys closing in on
All right. He's over there doing that, right? We don't really need to worry about that. Let's just go here. Infestors are good. Indeed they are. Look at that. This cannon's just gonna blow fuck up in a couple seconds. There's nothing he can do about it.
We're in for a
Bro,
rough night,
chacho.
but I know we can survive it.
There you go, a little force field for you, brother.
I've got break-ins
I
going.
can't stop.
Don't worry if you can't kill the Virophage tonight. I'm sure it'll be back tomorrow.
Look at my infestors. Look at my babies. Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh.
You have to defend that barricade if it's gonna stay standing.
No one cares about your barricade, dog.
Barricade is under attack.
Here, eat a million
Don't let you
roaches.
fall out
Cheers,
there.
brev.
If our base falls to the infested, this planet will be lost.
Keep Nvidia well fed with their overpriced cards. I can't help it, man. If you think about it, I'm paying for R&D for you to have a cheaper, better graphics cards in the future. How does that sound? There's the spin. Do you feel better about another person spending money now? Is that it? Do I have permission to make my own choices again? Did someone mansplain to me how I'm supposed to act in this situation? Appreciate it.
Bad guys closing in on your army.
How about we just take Gary back over here and just, because this cracks me out, right?
Detecting an enemy nidus.
Right? Doesn't this just give tons of energy to my dudes?
Like the hustle, but I'd advise against it, commanders. It'll be easier to take out the structures in the daytime.
Man, energy really just does not actually restore that fast, does it? Even with the Stellite memes.
Your forces are under attack.
Look at my little infestor dudes.
Some bad guys closing in on your army.
Looks like Amon wants a piece of us too. Get those defenses in place.
Your forces are
This is not a map where you need as many Stellites. It's mostly about having them at your base. Past that, you can pretty much do whatever you
Sure
want.
you want to do that at night, commanders? The infested will be here any minute.
All right, let's go impregnate some buildings, bro. The nice thing about Stellites is they do also give
We just have
vision.
to survive until dawn.
Until dawn. Hey, I just lost my first game of Warzone, but I got a kill. Didn't realize the 1070 can handle a game this well. Yeah, Warzone I think actually runs pretty decently, honestly. I've almost never had any performance complaints. So I found out that apparently Call of Duty is bugged out as far as the NVIDIA overlay goes. And that's why I was having some graphical glitches. That weird tearing is specifically caused by the GeForce overlay. Now I know what you're thinking, Nathanias, why would you ever use the GeForce overlay? It's terrible. And my answer to you would be, yes, it is terrible. I actually did not turn it on. It doesn't work in Call of Duty, which is part of what caused the bug. I actually had to install GeForce Experience for the sole express purpose of turning off the overlay, even though it doesn't work. So for anybody who was watching the stream yesterday that was like, Nathan, what actually did end up happening with your graphics card or something? Was that, something else? And the answer is that I actually just legitimately didn't have a... I did not actually have a legitimate answer for that, so...
forces are under attack.
Power fields are the natural habitat of which you're trying to warp in. He said the voice pack line. He said the voice pack line. I mean, I've kind of got everything I need, so I don't really feel motivated to like really step up what I'm doing here.
Your allies being attacked.
He force fielded the Immortal into the Roach Ravager. Now, see, that is a fascinating decision. I'm going to impregnate your buildings, and a 1, and a 2, and a see you in 9 months, and see you in 9 months, and you. All right.
Are in battle.
Nathan, isn't this a little bit of an inappropriate thing to joke about? I'm kind of going more for an alien-style impregnation. If you guys have missed the tone here,
Another day is coming to an
we're
end.
going, if you guys have seen that Ridley Scott movie, that's kind of where I'm leaning with this one.
Your allies being attacked.
All right, get your minds out of the gutter, please.
Your friends are in a bit of a
Someone's like, my kids can't hear about this. I'm like, no. It's aliens chest bursting out of people. It's only gratuitous violence. There's nothing sexual about it. And that's when that's when the average American is back to like, oh yeah, gratuitous violence in front of my kids is great. Just please don't mention boobs. All right. One-Eyed Clown was my teammate's name. That's actually great. This is family violence. Thank you. Exactly. This is Disney-approved violence. People getting cut in half with laser beams. TM, registered trademark. The Disney ninjas are about to come find me and break my legs now. We did it. We unlocked the Mecha Battle Carrier Lord, which we will never build. So great. Happy we got that. We got a worthless unit. And we're making our way pretty well along here with the Stetmann series. I've been enjoying it. Hopefully you guys have as well. Fun little episode, fun little morning that we were able to have to start things off. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Coffee and Co-op. I'd like to give a big shout out to the Wave, which is one of my favorite pieces of art that I ever get to see. I've got it on my mug. I've actually got it up on my wall in front of me now. This is what I look at in between games. It's just, it makes me think, brings me peace, and it's really just a fascinating piece of art, to be honest with you. So cheers to you guys, and see you for the next episode of Coffee and Co-op.